Greetings, Eric Bakker, Naturopath from New Zealand. Thanks for coming back. I've got another video today. This time we're going to talk about apple cider vinegar. Is apple cider vinegar okay to have with honey with part of the Candida diet? That's a question asked to me by Sarah Garner from Sanford in Maine. I think Maine's on the east coast of America. So Sarah's asking me about apple cider vinegar. Well, Sarah, check out this book here, Apple Cider Vinegar from Paul Bragg. And this is from the early 80s. It's on my bookshelf. You can see behind me my bookshelf. This is one of the many books I've got. And I like Paul Bragg. I mean, Paul Bragg's just an amazing guy. I mean, what a wonderful guy who passed away in his 80s. I think 90s he passed away, I believe, in Hawaii. A very big health crusader from way back, who influenced a lot of very famous people, including Jack LaLanne, of course, the guy who invented jumping jacks. And Jack LaLanne was that guy who actually first person to get women into gyms to do weight training when it was considered crazy for women to go into exercise rooms back then. I think it was back in the 30s or 40s. But Bragg was a very big believer in apple cider vinegar. I've got some books there going back to 1920 talking about apple cider vinegar on my shelf. I was just trying to find it, but I couldn't find it. I love collecting old health books. So cider vinegar is different from apple cider vinegar. And don't confuse vinegar with apple cider vinegar. So this is a fermented food, okay? So this is really something that most of the sugar has been gobbled up. So you're left with a very high potassium drink, which is very, very good for the body, very cleansing. So Bragg, when you go through his book, I mean, Bragg recommended for everything from balding to erectile dysfunction to, stopping retardation, everything. I mean, this guy was incredible with his recommendations. But cider vinegar has a very big effect on the digestive system. And because it's so high in potassium, it's a really good food for that reason alone. Potassium is a mineral that works with sodium. It's, I think, the third most abundant mineral in the body. It's a very powerful electrolyte that helps to strengthen neural activity. So potassium is exceedingly important for good brain function, good muscular function and energy and vitality, good liver function. All your organs and your bones, everything relies on good levels of potassium. Particularly potassium and sodium balance, blood pressure, and many other regulations. So this is like incredible. And there are so many different cures attributed to apple cider vinegar, it's almost ridiculous. But if you have a look at a lot of the scientific research, I mean, it certainly has been linked with lowering cholesterol, even weight loss. So 2 tablespoons of cider vinegar per day for 12 weeks, you're going to lose 4 pounds without even exercising or changing your diet or doing anything else, just that alone, because it stimulates the metabolism. It has a positive effect on thyroid and adrenal glands. It's a wonderful, wonderful drink. But should you have it with honey? And can you have it with honey if you've got a yeast infection? Yes, you can, but you can't go overboard. You can't drink a gallon of this stuff a day, for example. Not a good idea. You're not going to have 1 or 2 pounds of honey and a gallon of this. In my experience, if you tell people that something's okay, they tend to overdo it. I mean, I once read a recommendation for, I may have mentioned this on the video, for a patient to take vitamin E. So this guy bought some pills off me when I worked in a health food shop about 30-something years ago, and he gave his wife 30 vitamin E capsules a day. So you have to really explain things carefully to people and explain that you can't overdo this. So 2 tablespoons per day is great with honey, no problem if you've got Candida, as long as you're using a vinegar like Bragg's or a high-quality fermented apple cider vinegar. Don't get a tablespoon of honey and mix it in a glass of water and drink that. That's not a good idea with Candida. But if you bought the apple cider vinegar with honey, it's better than mixing it yourself. Okay, so you're best to buy cider vinegar with honey in it rather than the cider vinegar and then adding honey to it. Because I'm not sure if you're going to add a little bit of honey or several tablespoons with 1 teaspoon of cider vinegar. Okay, but if you buy it pre-made, it's an excellent, excellent tonic. Detoxification, cleansing. It can be used for 2 or 3 days as a short fast, for example, to remove toxins from the body. Bragg, for example, says in his book that just for 2 days you drink water and this cider vinegar with a bit of honey in it, just for 2 days alone. And you collect the urine over that period. And then you store it in a jar. And then, you store that jar for a few days and then you have a look at it and you'll see all of the sediment and the crap that builds up in it. And he believes it's a lot of toxins that you're excreting from the body. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, there could be other reasons why you're excreting this stuff, but It is a fantastic tonic. I highly recommend it with Candida. I've got no problem if you do that. But if you buy a pre-made cider vinegar with honey, it's better. And stick to 2 tablespoons per day. Okay, so put the tablespoon, for example, in 8 ounces of water and drink that before a meal. And you could do similarly, say before lunch and before your evening meal. If you had 2 tablespoons a day for 1 to 2 weeks and you had no worsening of your gut problem, for example, or felt sick, you could even step it to 2 tablespoons twice per day and go to 4 tablespoons a day. But yes, I do recommend cider vinegar. But start off slowly and be cautious when you use it and see how things go. I hope that answers your question, Sarah. Thanks for the question. Don't forget to click on the link below for your free Candida report. Thank you.